So, I got a text message from my buddy James at Engineers Workshop, and he told me a mutual friend of ours passed away. A gentleman by the name of Rick O. lives in California. He commented on my channel a good bit, and also on James' channel. And he appreciated my machines, and we talked on the phone maybe 5 or 6 times, maybe something like that. Like I said, he was out in California, and like I said, he passed away a couple days ago. And you know, I'm on YouTube, and you meet people, and just you see comments, and if they got a channel, you cruise on over their channel if they seem like interesting, and da 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 da. So Rick was retired. I don't know how old he was. I'm assuming like 66 or something, maybe. And he told me that he had, at the same time, I believe, a welding shop, fabrication shop, and a CNC machine shop. I think he said he employed like 15 guys. And he retired, and he was kind of setting up his machine shop at home. If I remember, some of his machines he had in his shop, when he closed the shop, he sold it to a friend of his, and then he was bringing them to his garage to set up. He has a Kearney Trekker 2D die maker's mill with the rotary head, and James at Engineers Workshop also has a Kearney Trekker 2D. Cool machine. Cool machine. But anyhow, that's how they knew each other, and Rick O found my channel. Like I said, I talked to him about 5 or 6 times about machines, and he had trouble with his power feed, and we're kind of going through what to check out and whatever with his 2D. And he was looking at buying a lathe, and he was gonna buy either a LeBlanc lathe or a Hendy lathe, and he bought the Hendy and he didn't like it because I forget why, and ended up buying a LeBlanc, but he's a Hendy guy because I guess he had a Hendy, and he knows I'm a Hendy guy because I got the tool and gauge maker. But just a nice guy. We spoke the same language, which was machinery, and he says he just put my videos up and let them play, and he just, because he liked to look at the machines in my shop. And he had a product he made in his later retirement or something. They were like, you ever see, if you're a boat guy and you tow a boat trailer and you're not having the trailer hitch on, you see the propellers that guys put on there. If they're boat people, they put the propellers on their vehicle. Well, Rick had a product that was like dirt bike handlebars and grips and brake levers, clutch lever, and different colors, and I guess for the dirt biker crowd, that's super cool. I had a couple dirt bikes growing up. I had a Can-Am 250, I had a Kawasaki KX 250, and just Suzuki 125s, and just whatever, and then motorcycles. But so Rick had that product, and he was selling it through some motorsports catalog. I forget which, like Parts Unlimited or something. But anyhow. Yeah, I'm just talking about Rick O, just remembering, you meet a lot of people. I've met some people in the YouTube comments, and like I say, sometimes you end up calling them on the phone and talking to them, and they're pretty decent folks that have the same shaper or planer or horizontal boring mill or jig bore. And I talked to Dale in Alaska. He lives in Alaska, but he works in Antarctica. I'm like, what a stretch is that? And Dale's got a Giddings & Lewis 25 horizontal boring mill, and he's also got the Rockford open side 36-inch planer. And it's fun, you know, this YouTube thing, this internet thing, it's fun to network with people, because let's face it, there's a million woodworkers out there, but the metalworking community is relatively small. And there's a lot of metalworkers that that's their job, they're machinists, be it CNC or manual or whatever. And they kind of go home and they have a family and they don't care about it, you know, and that's fine. But like, you know, you guys know I'm a mechanical engineer, and I've been a machinist since I was, you know, way young, in my 20s. But the group that we belong to, if you're watching my channel, you probably belong to this group of metalworking enthusiasts. And being an engineer, I love metalworking. I use every machine at work. The manual stuff. I'm getting into the CNC, but whatever. And welding, and, you know, just from soup to nuts. I just love it. That's why I have my shop at home. And I just love the ability to make things, right? Making things out of wood is cool, but making things out of metal, you can make, you know, mini bikes, dirt bikes, tractors, cars, and you can't make that stuff out of wood. I mean, you just can't. Metal is just so awesome. And, you know, steel and alloys, it's just manipulating the technology, you know. I love the history, the industrial history of the technology of our culture. And it is our culture. You know, the Industrial Revolution and metalworking and making, manufacturing things, it's absolutely part of our culture. And it saddens me that I was born in a time when everything started to be outsourced to the low-cost countries. And, you know, I almost thought, wouldn't it be great if I was born, instead of in 1975, if I was born in 1925 or something. Nah, maybe 1950, because then you had the hot rod scene and, you know, V8 engines and da 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 da, and that, I love hot rods, and you know, the freedom to build your own car or truck or whatever, and that's all metal, steel, iron technology. You know, Henry Ford casting the unit block V8. It's just cool. It makes our life better, it makes our life easier, you know. But just to be able to manipulate metal and steel and aluminum and da 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 da. And welding's cool, fabricating's cool, don't get me wrong, but when you can make something with bearings, like ball bearings are just cool in and of themselves. I always thought when I was a kid, and when I was a young kid, and I first discovered how friction-free ball bearings were, man, go back to the 18 whatevers where they had Conestoga covered wagons and show them a ball bearing when they just had, you know, bacon grease on an axle with a wood wheel. I mean, you know, ball bearings, awesome. But yeah, if you can make something with ball bearings and gears and, you know, internal combustion engine or external combustion, right, with the steam engines, it's just awesome. It's the ultimate in man manipulating his resources with this technology to make things to move you, to haul goods and haul things, and, you know, generate electricity and all that goes with that. Making plastic molds and transistors and iPhones and computers and wireless internet. Oh my God, it's all metalworking. If you didn't have metalworking, you don't have any of that technology at all. There's freaking no way. So that's why I like doing what I do and having a shop and having really cool machines, and machines that are not necessarily the pinnacle of technology, but high in the ranks of precision. I should have bought that Moore jig grinder at that auction for $1,000 or whatever. Anyhow, like-minded people on YouTube, community coming together that love metalworking. I mean, the makers are kind of a part of that a little bit. I think they like making things, not necessarily out of metal, but certainly there's a segment of it. But just people that love to make things. Fabricators, welders, machinists, CNC, manual, doesn't matter. And, you know, I do CAD, I do SolidWorks. So I could take a SolidWorks file and make a 2D, or, you know, even a 3D Bob cam, Gibbs cam for the CNC and download it, and I've got a 3D program for my, my model. Another skill set, it's awesome. I've been doing SolidWorks since 2000, so like 20 years. 3D modeling, awesome. Hand in hand with CNC. So that's my next step. You know, I got that Miltronics. I think James at Engineers Workshop got a Miltronics. I think it's a little bit older, and he's trying to get it going, but side note. But anyways, I know I'm getting long-winded. I'm glad we got this YouTube thing. I'm glad we got a metalworking community. I'm glad I was able to network and talk to Rick O and share a bit of his things, share a bit of the things that he enjoyed in his stories about his business and what he used to do a little bit there and his product that he made and designed, and talking about machines, you know, talking about how to fix this and that and your power feed, and we check, you know, we're just going guy stuff, you know. You need to talk guy stuff sometimes, and me and Rick were kind of talking guy stuff. And I'm very sad that he's no longer with us, because he was a cool dude. He was just seemed like a straight shooter, you know. The way he communicated, and he reached out to me. I think he called me first, but anyways, I don't know. The older I get, it's like, man, this planet is really small. I don't know. I really wish I had more metalworking people here in Charlotte, that we could get together on a Saturday night or a whatever night and, you know, talk shop. Have coffee, have beer, have food, whatever you want. And different people could host it. I don't know. Seemed like a fun idea. But there's nobody here. You know, Charlotte's a banking city, right? A financial hub, this and that. And it's just hard. I'm lucky I have the job I have in manufacturing, and there is some manufacturing around here. But you know, like, I'm the only guy where I work that's fairly serious about metalworking on his free time. Another engineer friend of mine, he's got a Bridgeport and a lathe, but I don't really think he's not really making anything. I don't know. I'm not sure what his thing is. He works on cars a bit. I don't know. Oh yeah, works on cars. Yeah, I love cars, love working on cars. But, you know, being that I am into metalworking, it opens up a whole new avenue with cars, right? You guys may know I've got 3 international trucks. I got 2 fire trucks and a pickup truck. And when I was a kid, you know, I was 16, 17, 18 years old, I'm like, oh my God, I really need a Ford or a Chevy or a Dodge so I can get replacement parts and da-da-da-da because they're popular. But I worked at a place after school in high school that had international farm tractors, and I found this international truck, and just something about internationals that I could talk about that for 2 hours, but I'm not going to. It was appealing to me. So I got my truck. I'm thinking, you can't find anything hardly for international trucks, but being a machinist, I can make anything, right? I think the coolest thing is to swap engines or swap transmissions or something. So if I can make a bell housing adapter to do something, I want to make an adapter. I want to take out my steering box because it's completely loose, and I want to put in a rack and pinion, mount that on the axle somehow, and stuff like that. If you're a machinist, you can weld, machine, fabricate, design, SolidWorks. I mean, you got it all. You can make anything fit. You can make it work. You can engineer it for strength and lightness and power and speed and so having an off-brand old trucks, I can make anything, and that's what one of my life goals was, to be a master of my technology that I have, right? I can design things, I can fabricate things, I can machine things, obsolete parts, broken parts. I mean, even if I have to have a casting made, and most stuff you can fabricate it out of steel with weldments or machine it. So one of my things I want to do with one of my trucks, I got a Detroit diesel, a little baby 353 Detroit, and it's like 100 horsepower and 200 foot-pounds of torque. It's like 900 pounds, power to weight ratio, bad, but it's a Detroit, and a 3-cylinder 2-stroke is perfect inherent balance. So this thing is, and most people don't know the whole physics or whatever behind that, but this thing runs so smooth. It's a big burly engine. You could put a nickel on the valve cover, and it'd balance. It wouldn't fall over. So it's such a smooth engine. But anyways, I got a ZF, which is a German transmission built by Ford. The ZF 6-speed, I guess is ZF6. I don't know. Was behind a V10 Ford engine, but I want to put that behind the Detroit 3-cylinder. Put it in one of my pickup trucks or something. That's the kind of thing. I got to make a bell housing adapter. I want to do some measurements, and I got measuring tools, and I got my surface plate, and I got, I guess I could, if I needed to use a CMM at work, I probably could, but that's why I have a shop. It's so I can make stuff custom to what I want, not a factory bought vehicle, which today they cost as much as a freaking house. They got more computer stuff and emission stuff. It's just, you don't own them, they own you with the monthly payment, and you can't work on them without all this specific training for that specific computer system, for that specific car, and that specific injection system. It's so specific that a general mechanic, there's no such thing as a general mechanic anymore. Maybe brakes and tires and that kind of stuff, and oil changes, but that's why the older stuff is so much more friendly to own. But I'm going off on another topic. A little bit about why I have a shop and why I love being a part of the metalworking community. I know me and a couple other friends that knew him. We're going to miss Rick because he was a member of the metalworking community, and that's it. That's good enough. Embrace your friends, make time for your friends, make time for your hobbies. Don't be cheap, spend some money on something that puts a smile on your face. It's not wasted if it makes you happy, right? All this shop makes me happy. I come out here and I fiddle around with these old jacks, and my friend Jim in Grand Island, you know, my friend Jim, I think he's 78 this year. He's rigging machines and moving machines and boring mills and playing vertical turret lathe, I think he moved. He's like, hey Doozer, you got to check out these Rees jacks, and you know, they're toe jack or foot jack, and you can, you know, get the machine up and put your skates under them, and they're really cool. They're made in 1920. Rees was incorporated on my birthday, February 13th, 1921. That's not my birth date, but February 13th is my birthday, so that's why I remember it. So this is legit, man. 100-year-old jacks. But again, engineering, worm gears, mechanical things that lift 8,000 pounds. Freaking neat. Pretty cool. But with, you know, sometimes I get depressed. COVID got me a little depressed and down. And if you guys get depressed, go out in your shop. There's some threads on Practical Machinist about, oh, you guys are collecting too, you know, we're all collecting too much, and we're gonna die, and our family's gonna have to get rid of our stuff. No, don't. Forget about it. They'll sell your stuff. They'll make money on it. Don't worry about them. You'll be dead. You're giving them free stuff when you die so they can figure out what it's worth and sell and make money. That's not burden. That's great. If someone gave me free stuff and I had to divvy it up, and it's like, you know, a little bit of a pain in the butt, but you're going to make money on the deal, so don't worry about it. You need to go out in your shop and get happy, right? I love coming out to my shop. I hope my mental state is always as such where my shop makes me happy. If you go out in your shop and you're not happy, start small. Maybe you're depressed. Work in baby steps. Sometimes when I was feeling bad, I'd come out and I'd get the broom and I'd sweep the floor. And I'd get the shop vac and I'd start sweeping, sucking up metal chips. Sometimes I'd come out here if I wasn't feeling too hot for, you know, 15 minutes, a half hour, and go back in the house and watch YouTube and go to bed. Just keep at it. Subscribe to that Home Shop Machinist magazine or something. They got, you know, a web forum, Home Shop Machinist. There's Practical Machinist. Go on Garage Journal, right? I mean, whatever you're into. I go on Old Internationals for my trucks. There's Cub Cadet forums. I know because I was fixing a Cub Cadet for my dad, whatever. Go on eBay and look for tools. Like, I buy stuff. Get some search terms like vintage mechanics tools. Like I said, each one of these jacks I paid like 60 bucks. Well, $30 and another 30 shipping because they're heavy, but still $60 for a jack. And I spent a good Saturday cleaning that sucker up with the grease in my parts tank, and little projects like that are fun, right? And everything builds on each other. I found a little 1/4-inch ratchet and a 1/4-inch breaker bar because I didn't have one. I didn't have a breaker. I had a couple 1/4-inch ratchets that were junk, and so I got this vintage older ones on eBay, and I was using them the other day. I had a tap socket. I was tapping it with my new little ratchet wrench and tapping just a 1/4-20 hole. Excuse me, and it's like, man, this is fun. I can use my new tap wrench, and this is kind of cool. It's got a really neat action to it. The little stuff I get excited about, and that's my key to being motivated in the shop, is just, I watched that guy, Scout Crafter, and there's Tom Gunn Tools. But Scout Crafter, I think he used to drive a bus for a New York City Transit Authority, and he's retired now, but he buys tools on eBay and he goes to swap meets and I'll show you quick. All right, this is a crescent wrench, and man, I hope it focuses. Jamestown, New York. You can see it. The jaw has been broken and welded, and the handle was red painted, and I think it's half burned from the heat treatment of the welding. But that was my grandfather's wrench, and I TIG welded it. Actually, did I TIG weld it? I brazed it once, and then it cracked again. I put it back together, and I TIG welded it over the braze, and it kind of alloyed and mixed together, whatever. But it's a 4-inch crescent wrench, beat the heck, but it's still a crescent wrench made in Jamestown, New York. And it's my memory of my grandfather, who died when I was like 3 years old. Grandpa Sosnowski. And I use this whenever I can in the shop because it makes me happy, right? It's a silly 4-inch crescent wrench that's, you know, it's a little loose, but not, you know, I mean, but so what? I fixed it because I learned how to, I broke it and I learned how to braze, and then I learned how to TIG weld, and then I fixed it, and this is Grandpa's wrench, man. It's my grandpa's wrench, and he's been gone since I was a kid. But I use his wrench for different little stuff around the shop. I think Tom Lipton said that he loves to buy tools on eBay that are signed with a name of a machinist that made them, or stamped, or, you know. I think that's awesome. And it's neat. Oh, there was a Mitutoyo caliper, 6-inch caliper. It was the round kind, which are rare. I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, but the model number is 100-109 or something like that. And it's a tubular round body vernier caliper. And the jaws don't have to stay parallel. They can go around, and you can use it as a height gauge or something. So, but anyways, the seller was on eBay around the Detroit, Michigan area, Ann Arbor or something, I forget, somewhere in that neighborhood. And there was a signature on it, and it said D. Bailey. I wonder if that's Don Bailey of Suburban Tool. And I think I saw Don Bailey write a cursive D on his whiteboard on his channel, and it was the same droopy Zahner Blozer cursive D. And I believe, maybe I'm wrong, I think Suburban Tools in that Michigan area. So it could have been Don Bailey's caliper. I don't know. But, you know, I look on eBay. Oh, it went for like $255. So somebody had an idea either what the caliper was or what the signature was. And you might have watched Suburban Tools channel and seen Don Bailey. He's got a comic relief sidekick guy, assistant. I guess he was a tool maker for Suburban a long time, and I think he ended up buying the company. I'm not sure how that worked, but anyhow, tools. Man, there's some cool stuff on eBay. It's all freaking expensive as can be now, but I don't know. Just, and don't worry about the money. If you got enough money to take care of your essentials, buy cool stuff and make yourself happy. And you're not just buying tools, you're buying memories, right? You're buying memories. And you're buying history. You're buying a piece of the tools that built our industrial nation. And I know we're a service economy now, and 80% of that stuff is gone, and it sucks. I will tell you, it sucks. But That's just my opinion. All right, too long rambling about on a weekday. I'm losing my voice. Thanks for being my friend, Rick O. Peace.